Kyle here from allmediareviews.blogspot.com, and sorry for the lack of updates, but life happens and been busy. And anyway, I'm going to do this as quickly as I can since this is my second attempt doing this, I'll admit. Just an update really, and some vinyls. I'll do the vinyls first though. Going back to the last vinyl update I showed, I had Porcupine Tree up the downstairs. And I actually forgot to show, I had it just a minute ago, Porcupine Tree's Stupid Dream, which is a gatefold. I found this also in a store in the Twin Cities, which Porcupine Tree, you don't see their vinyls very much in the Twin Cities. Let me just back this up a little bit here. Hopefully that works. You don't see their records that much in the Twin Cities for whatever reason. Burning Shed sells them online, but the only other ones I've mentioned, or I've seen off and on, is the first album, On the Sunday of Life, which I like a couple of songs off of, but I'm not that crazy about it. And then the sort of B-sides from, I think it was around the time of Lightbulb Sun, Recordings it's called. So, but this record, Stupid Dream, isn't a favorite of mine, but I can show it, I guess, quickly. The jackets are pretty cool looking. It's 180 gram, I believe. They're just standard black. But I mean, the song I think of probably most for this record is the first track, which they played live for many years when they toured, when they were around. Even less. But it has a few others. I know they played live, and I think of like Between a Smart Kid. Here's one of the other jackets. The other jacket, rather. Stop Swimming, I believe. Pure Narcotic is another one that, at times, they're not, maybe they weren't live staples as much as some of the others from the period that I saw them, since I didn't even see them until 2001 at Nearfest, and then I saw them a few other times after that, because they were playing more of the material from that period of time. So, certainly a good record. The one I'm really looking for the most would be Lightbulb Sun. That's my favorite, and then Dead Wing. In absentia also I probably would snatch up, but anyway, so moving on. I didn't have this when I first tried to make this video, but I did go to Cleveland recently, a couple weeks ago, with my fiance for this convention she was going to, and we actually did go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I did put up some videos for that. But I did hit up a couple record stores as well. We actually looked at the Rock Hall's music store, and it was like an FYE basically. It had some stuff. I mean, I took a few pictures I put on Facebook. I haven't shared on the blog, but anyway, we did go to a couple record stores while in Cleveland as well, and one of them was known as my Mind's Eye, which was a lot of vinyl, a lot of new vinyl especially. And I did pick up one record there, Minus the Bears' Planet of Ice, which I've never seen on vinyl, even though I think it's been issued. This is the one I got right here, this gatefold, is like a 2013 or 2014 reissue. But this is the first album that I really got to like, or got into Minus the Bear. I never was that big of a fan of theirs. I never could get into them, really. I thought they were okay, but this record has like a really cool like Pink Floyd element, a lot of textures, and the melodies are there. The first song, specifically Bearing Luck, has got this sort of retro synth or organ tone almost. It's very catchy and very kind of the rhythm and the crescendo I really like on that track. But this album is like filled with songs that I found really worked and got addicted to. Between Nights, here you can see the track list. Nights, that's a song that got on the radio, I know. Dr. Liling, and I don't know if that part 2 is Dr. Liling part 2, it might be. Double Vision Quest also, I think, is one of the more proggy tracks. And the thing is, I haven't really found any of the records that Minus the Bear has put out since to be, of this quality. Although I think the last record I liked, but it was more synth driven than keyboard and synth driven. But No, this is one of the best records. And one thing of note, I recently caught an episode of, it was an older episode, I think, of Live from Daryl's house, where the guys were playing one of the songs from Daryl's album, which Robert Fripp actually played. I'm wearing the crimson shirt today. And they mentioned how right around that song was very progressive or prog rock, and that this album specifically was, they were listening to a lot of progressive rock when they wrote it, so I'm not surprised. But thanks to my Mind's Eye in Cleveland, I would like to go back there at some point. That was a cool store. And then we went to a couple other stores. I didn't find much, kind of like more vintage places and collectible places, but the last place we ended up going to is a place called Blue Arrow Records, and I found XTC, a copy of XTC's English Settlement there, which has the song Senses Working Over Time, which even Marillion covered at a festival with Dave, I'm blanking on his name, the bass, I think it's the bass player from XTC. But anyway, yeah, this is a record I've just kind of scratched the surface with as far as getting into it. But English Settlements, the pre-Skylarking period. Probably could show the jacket, and that would probably give me the answer to the gentleman who I'm totally spacing on his name. This has all the lyrics, which is cool. I'm not sure what pressing this is. I haven't looked at it enough, but it doesn't actually have the credits. It just has the songwriter. But anyway, but yeah, this is one of many pre-Skylarking XTC records that I'm just discovering more and more about. But and then I found at this place Blue Arrow, which Blue Arrow, I don't know if I've shown the videos on YouTube, but I did post some stuff on Facebook. Their floor is covered in vinyl, which is cool. And it was an interesting shop, although fortunately the fiance didn't find much. But they had two Genesis, they labeled them under Fan Club, but they were, I think, bootlegs. Revelatory Genesis 8078, which they do a lot of the Duke album on this. I think this might be just from one show. Oh no, it's from two different shows. London Lyceum Ballroom, May 7th, 1980, and then Nebworth Festival, June 24th, 1978. So, but this has Duke Travels, Duke's End on the side 3. The condition is really good. I mean, I'd show it real quickly again, but for a bootleg, I almost get the sense that these people that own this only listen to it maybe once or twice. Yeah, there's not really anything. I didn't find anything wrong with these, and I mean, I don't remember how much I paid for them, but they weren't outrageous. Yeah, $15, you know, for a double. And see any type of live bootleg from the 70s, especially on vinyl, was something I've never, especially from a band like Genesis. I don't ever expect to see that, you know, again. But I don't want to ruin this jacket here. I'll just. Let's see here. And then the other one I got was called Live at the Theatre Royale from May 4th, 1980. And again, the condition, pretty good. The set list has some of the Gabriel stuff, including In the Cage, I Know What I Like, I Know What You Like, rather. I think that's wrong. Instrumental with an audience, audiences chanting. And then Return of the Giant Hogweed. So, although the one I just showed just a minute ago includes Fountain of Some Matches and The Knife, among others. And you know, a lot of the earlier Phil stuff, you know, from that period, like from Trick of the Tail and Wind and Wuthering. But yeah, no, these were both, you know, it was last minute because I was in that store for like close to an hour. We'd gone to a couple other stores, not my Mind's Eye, but and I hadn't found really anything, you know, that I need to pick up, and suddenly I look in the fan club section, and there they are, two Genesis vinyl bootlegs in more or less unplayable, unplayable or unplayed rather condition. So anyway, I wanted to make an announcement or two. I hopefully will be able to get some more actual like album reviews up. in the for videos. I have some time coming off soon, and there's a lot of new records that have dropped. Of course, a lot of people are going gaga over the new The Deer Hunter album, Act 4, Rebirth and Reprise, which I've listened to it a couple times. I do like a lot of it, but I'll see if I can make a video review for that, along with the new Foles album, What Went Down, and some others, Mother Falcon, and geez, I'm trying to remember. So there's been a bunch of other albums that have come across. I also wanted to mention, it's been cool. I wrote in the blog about some of the new podcast, the Prog Squad. I've been really into the last week and change. It's sort of a roundtable discussion of progressive rock, similar to like You've Been Radio, which I used to really love, listen to every week. But it's 4 guys instead of 2 or 5. Actually, they have a guest every week. But really glad to finally find like an actual progressive rock podcast, and then also a lot of these YouTube channels, including Ministry of Music. I watch almost every video he puts up. Zero Zero Jets, Superior Isotope, Downfall. This sort of a not a clique, but there's a social aspect to a lot of these reviewers. I know about from before. I never discovered on YouTube, and I guess that makes some sense. So yeah, that's been great. I also didn't show this. I did get the I'm Breathless soundtrack, which does have Kevin Gilbert's cues, quote unquote, mixing. I believe he did mixing and some engineering on. But I have this on vinyl too, which hopefully I'll show one day. But I don't know if I can even. Yeah, his name is on there. If you look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Bill Bottrell. You see his name toward the bottom. If you look, if that gets on the camera. But one other quick announcement, and I'll wrap this up. I hope to make, as I've been doing in the blog, I just finally finish 1974, these retro favorite albums list. Because there's been a lot of lists of late of like favorite prog rock albums since 1990, and Rolling Stone put out a top 50 prog albums. And I've been seeing a lot of these lists, and I just kind of thought I'd do something similar, but instead of making it just a top list per genre, some from a date, I thought I'd just do the mother of all lists, or list among lists, and do a yearly thing. I started this a little over a month ago, just looking at actually calendar dates and when albums came out relative to others. It's kind of a cool history lesson in the process, and like if I would have been around in 1971, what would have been my favorite album, what albums would have been I listened to a lot, and when they came out. Sort of similar to the process of what happened with the Beach Boys and the Beatles when they were going back and forth. And so I look to now, I've done 10 of them on the blog. I'll start trying to make videos, not as long as the blog entries, but and I may actually post like a top 10 or 20 rankings also, which I did not do in the original entries, but that should be kind of fun. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.